Hi, I'm Kitty and welcome back to my channel. I want to show you how to make these beautiful bracelets. They are the most comfortable bracelets you ever gonna wear. Material list is in the description, so let's get started. Now before we start, if you do like this project, do give a video a thumbs up so I know to design more jewelry just like this one. So the way how we are gonna make this bracelet is by using 4 separate lines of elastic. The beads we will be using, these are the Superduos, have 2 holes on them binding 2 separate elastic together. So as the Samos beads, they have 2 holes on them as well, so they will binding the middle 2 rows together. The method is really simple, very easy, and this is the most comfortable bracelet you ever gonna wear. Now before we start stringing our beads, there's a couple of things you need to look out for. So these Samos beads, they do have a domed front and they do have a flat back. So you need to make sure you're going to be picking them up the same way every single time you pick up a bead. So I do suggest to put them down on your mat right in front of you. You're going to need a pattern of 1 Samos bead, 1 Superduo, 1 Samos bead, 1 Superduo, 1 Samos bead all the way down. So I just lay them down on my mat and I'm going through the top hole every single time, so I know when I pick them up they're gonna sit exactly the same way. Now there's one more thing what you need to do, one more thing I like to do when I'm picking them up. So 1 in 1,000 you can get a bead where the second hole is blocked with, it can be just blocked or the punch didn't punch it through when it was made. So I turned it upwards towards me and I just look through the hole and I can see that the hole is clear. Then I go ahead and pick up the next bead. With Superduos it's easier because they are thinner bead, but with the Gemtos you just need to look through them as you're picking them up so you don't get any surprises when you're trying to put your needle through for the second row. It will be nice and free for you. So you're going to go ahead and pick up your Samos bead and your Superduos all the way down until you have your desired length. Now before I knot this together, what I usually do, I just pick it up, I pull it slightly apart so all the beads are going to be by gravity, they're going to be pulling it down to the table, and then I just put it down to the table just like that. And what I'm looking for is that all the Samos beads are looking me up the same way, so all the dome part of the Samos beads is facing upwards and all the flat part of the Samos beads are facing backwards. Once you're happy with the length, make sure that if you started with the Samos beads, you finished with a Superduo, and we're just going to go ahead and knot this together. So I'd kind of like to pull it apart a little bit and then I'm just pushing the 2 ends together with my fingers. I don't want to push it too much. I don't want to create too much tension on there. I don't want the bracelet to be loose. So once I did that, I'm just going to let it go and I'm going to knot this together. So I'm going to do 3 half a knot. So I'm going to do one, I'm going to do the left over right and pull it through at the bottom. I'm going to pull this tighter. Then I'm going to go right over left and pull this end through. And then make my knot, and because I'm working with a flat elastic, I like to do another half a knot, so I'm gonna go right over left again and then just pull it just like that. You want to do little pulls, you don't want one big pull because that could break your bracelet, just little pulls. And now we are ready to add our second line. To add the second string, I'm going to locate where my knot is. I do like to keep my knots right in sort of in the same area, so I can pull that part of the bracelet to the bottom of my wrist so it's never visible. The knots are quite small and they can seep into the beads themselves, but just to be sure, I like to keep them in a nice and neat line. So I'm going to go and pick up a Superduo because that's right in front of my knot there. So I'm just going to go and pick up that one. And then I'm going to go ahead and go through the Samos bead. Then I'm going to pick up another Superduo, pull this through and go through the next Samos bead. Just like that. I'm going to repeat this all the way down, picking up 1 Superduo and going through the next Samos bead. Once you get all the way around, then you're gonna knot your working end and your tail end together to form your second line around. So once you finished your second elastic, then all is left to do is to add the 2 outside one. This is the 2 middle one we just done here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through this Superduo. Both of these outside ones is going to be exactly the same. And what you need to do is to pick up 2 crystals. I'm going to take these crystals down, then go through the next Superduo, just like that. I'm going to pick up another 2 crystals and go through the next Superduo all the way around. Once I finished one side, I'm going to turn my bracelet around and do exactly the same pattern on the other side as well, evening my bracelet out. And once you've finished, knot your ends together and I'll show you how to tidy up your elastic ends. So once you have finished your pattern and you got all 4 strands on there, all of them are tied together separately, you need to tidy up the ends and secure the knots. So I'm just going to pull this very last one here. I'm just going to hold on to this very last one and I'm going to pull it away from my bracelet so you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to use just clear nail varnish. You can also use a glue. If you're using a glue, I would apply it with a cocktail stick because you don't want the glue all over or the nail varnish all over your elastic there. You only want it on the end. So I'm going to take everything, almost everything off the brush here, and I'm just gonna go on the top of the knots towards the tail end. I'm just gonna go across just like that. I don't want to add any further down here, just on the top there. I'm just gonna wait a couple of seconds so this nail varnish just sort of seeps on the top of the glue there. And I'm gonna go ahead and, well, there's 2 ways to do it. You can either wait this until it's gonna dry and then cut the ends off. I quite like to cut the ends off about when the nail varnish or the glue is still wet, because then what I can do is to pull this knot inside the bead. You will have an easier job to pull them inside the Samos bead themselves rather than the Superduos, but then even if it just sits on the side, you're not going to be able to see it. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the next strand. So I'm just going to pull it away from my bracelet, get my nail varnish, do it right on the end there, then go ahead and trim. So as you can see, when I'm trimming, I'm still leaving a couple of millimeters, a very tiny tail there. I'm not cutting right on the top of the knot, just leaving a very small tail there. And then again, I'm going to go ahead and I can pull this into the Samos bead just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the other 2 as well. So the materials I have used in this project is Superduo beads, Par Puca Samos beads and 2x3mm crystal rondelles. Now if you haven't got crystal rondelles, you could use a size 11 or a size 8 seed bead. If you haven't got Samos beads, you could use like check cabochons or any other one with 2 holes. And if you haven't got Superduos, you could use any other 2-hole beads which are like sort of more like a thinner in shape. What you have to look at for each line, once they are on the elastic itself, they come together as exactly the same size, because if you're for example the 2 outer line, if they are a little bit bigger, then your bracelet is gonna buckle and the outside lines are gonna sort of come up over the middle line. So you need to make sure each one of the lines are exactly the same size, but you could experiment all sorts of different beads. Now I do recommend these flat elastic. I don't recommend round elastic because round elastic is not as stretchy as this flat elastic. So if I would put 4 strands of round elastic onto my bracelet, it would be really hard to pull it apart. So you need the flexibility of the flat elastic. And my secret weapon, but I never go anywhere without doing any of these bracelets, is a big eye needle. Just makes life so much easier. You can put your beads on so much quicker than trying to put the string itself through the hole of the beads. So just before we go and look at these beautiful colorways, if you like this project, then do give a video a thumbs up so I can go ahead and design more jewelry just like this. If you have got a favorite 2 or 3 hole bead, which any of them would be perfect for this project, then do let me know in the comments so I will go ahead and design more bracelets just like with this one with your favorite bead. So once you get familiar with the pattern, they do experiment with all sorts of different colors. I loved making them all up, especially like some of them where I put the same color beads, like all the different type of beads, they're very similar colors, so they just, the whole bracelet just bands together. But equally, you could do something like this pink one where the Samos beads are really dark and the crystals and the Superduos are really light in color. Or have a look at this blue and red one. Here, the Superduos are very light and the Samos beads and the crystals somewhat a very similar color, so they're standing out in a different way. If you don't want to miss out on my next video, then be sure to turn the bell on after you have subscribed to my channel. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.